Hey guys, welcome back to, you've guessed it, Subject Real Talk with your host, Carla and Claire.
Hey.
How have you been going?
I've been going good. I'm in a silly, goofy mood right now.
And we sure are. Care to explain why?
We've been singing, we've been the problem is that we've sat down for at least over an hour chatting, and it's just got me in a silly, goofy mood.
As you've probably guessed it, Tucker's album, Deluxe, is out. So we were listening.
Because happy belated Valentine's Day.
Yes, he knows us so well.
He did us well.
And he released it on Valentine's because he
loves us.
He
Because
really
he's our
does.
boyfriend.
Exactly.
And boyfriends give their girlfriends Valentines for Valentine's Day. And he did that.
Exactly. He gave us a whole fucking album.
Mm-hmm.
Deluxe. He gave us a 10-minute episode diary from the New Zealand Auckland shows. I watched that while eating my sushi last night.
Let's go.
No, it was so good. I love his little diary entries. Anyways, on today's agenda, we have yet another submission.
For a little story time.
Keep them coming.
I'm excited for this one.
I haven't seen this one, so it's roles reversed. Claire is taking lead, and I will be chiming in with my commentary.
Exactly. Okay. This girl wrote in, au pair story. I was an au pair in Paris. The family was a little bit weird, but nothing too crazy. The crazy story is how they decided to fire me. They knew I was unhappy with the family, so the mom told me that she wanted to talk to me during the day, like have a meeting. Only the mom talked to me. For some reason, the dad never spoke to me. The week before, I had complained that I worked too much, 40 hours a week.
Oh my god.
No, yeah.
40 hours?
Legally, you're not supposed to work over 25.
I work like 18.
I don't know if I hit 25 or not.
40 hours a week?
That's a full work week. The reason why you don't work so much is because
you don't get paid a penny.
Yeah, and you're like, the whole point of having an au pair is a cultural exchange, and they're supposed to like legally be allowed to like learn the culture of like the city and go out and do fun things.
Which, side point, I feel like a lot of families now have like completely lost the cultural aspect of the cultural exchange. They just want low
cost childcare.
Yeah, and I'm like, this is not slave.
Yeah, no. So 40 hours a week is crazy. But the mom just blamed me for their money problems. This time, I was so scared. I knew it was going to be bad news. So when I came into the dining room, she started directly with asking me if I was depressed.
What?
I said, I don't know.
If someone just straight up asks you, are you depressed? I would probably be like,
And imagine if I'm working 40 hours a week. She's definitely just tired.
Yeah.
Like,
when is she sleeping?
Probably never. She said that was almost the last thing I said in that conversation because she took over. She was convinced that I was severely depressed because I slept late in my free mornings.
If someone said that to me, I think
they would really be concerned about me because
they would have been concerned about me the other night when I was like, I went home and I took a 4-hour nap.
Yeah.
I was physically exhausted.
Go sleep.
No,
she's working
what's it
40
to you?
hours a week, and why is she blaming them for their money problems?
And if it's her free morning,
yeah,
obviously she's gonna sleep in if she doesn't have to wake up at like 7 or 6 a.m.
Yeah, that doesn't make any sense.
Okay.
She admitted to spying on me and had come to the conclusion I was suicidal.
What?
Yeah.
This bitch is crazy.
No, literally. You don't go up to people and start blaming all your money problems on them and make them work double the amount that they're supposed to.
What?
She said, I was so confused about this. She kept explaining I had to go to a mental institution. I knew I wasn't depressed. I was just overworked and had a lack of sleep. But anyways, I gave into her story and accepted that I had to go to a mental hospital.
My God!
I just wanted away from people like her who invented reasons to fire people for having a savior complex. That's how I doubted myself if I was mentally unstable and had to leave the country because of trauma in 6 days. I guess you had to leave in 6 days, too?
That's genuinely, girl, if you're listening to this, what? That's truly crazy. One, that you went through that, and two, that someone is doing that, because I can guarantee you she's probably doing or has done the same to her current or old au pairs.
Definitely.
Like, how are you as a host parent, blaming your money troubles on a teenager? Like, yeah, because you can be 17 to...
I'm sorry, au pairs are so cheap too. It's if you're having them work 40 hours every week, and I get they do pay a lot of taxes on us, just don't get an au pair if you can't.
But 40 hours, like, when are the parents seeing their kids?
They probably aren't.
That's genuinely so crazy. Obviously, yeah, I would be confused too, because I'm overworked and I'm tired. And how are you telling me that I'm severely depressed and suicidal because I'm tired?
No, yeah, you don't just...
And I have to go to a mental institution! No, yeah, that's honestly... I would so much rather you just say, hey, this isn't working out, than make up some bullshit excuses about you firing me.
Because that's crazy.
How are you telling me that I need to go to a mental institution?
Do they even have those here in France?
Yeah, they'll be like in the hospital.
Oh.
Like they have like hospitals for that, but...
Because French therapy is definitely different than...
I haven't experienced French therapy, so
I've only heard.
Oh.
And I haven't heard well.
I don't know. I feel like it just depends on, like, who you are. Because, like, people... Side tangent. People that I've heard... BetterHelp. I've heard so much shit on that.
Oh, yeah.
And how...
I haven't ever tried it.
People basically saying that, like, they hire barely qualified therapists.
Yeah.
And, like, really expensive for what?
The quality of that you get.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So I'm like, you could just, like, compare it to that. And I'm like, well, I also, like, I feel like it just depends on
I mean, I only knew one person that did BetterHelp.
See, I don't know anyone. I just, like, I'm going off of, like, what I've heard.
But it's advertised everywhere. They have them they're probably making so much money.
Definitely. Well, that was a crazy story.
That was.
And
sorry that you had to go through that.
Yeah, genuinely. Well, one, hope that you're not traumatized by the country anymore. Yeah. Two, that you've been able to, like, come back here and enjoy yourself.
Yeah, find a new family that's not crazy.
Yeah. Hopefully you're still au pairing after this.
Yeah.
I would have trust issues.
On that note, we would love
to discuss
tips and tricks for
au pairs. We wanted to do a little segment of things we wish we knew before we became an au pair.
Yeah, because I feel like for me, there's a lot.
Would you care to start us off?
Okay. First of all, I have this in all caps. Save as much money as possible before you move here.
Please.
If there's one thing I can tell you, it is to do that. The whole summer or whenever, from the second you find out you want to do this, save money. You're gonna say, hey, I want to, like, spend a last summer with my friends. Like, I'm not gonna see them for a year. No, you don't. Because what you want to do when you come here is go to cool countries and go on trips and meet friends here, because you're not going to have any when you move here.
And genuinely, being an au pair is not for broke people.
It's not.
Like, it's people, I feel like there's, I don't know if it's just a me thing, but I feel like there's a stereotype that, like, au pairs are, like, an in-between job, or, like, just that you don't need to have basically any money and that anyone can do it. Wrong.
So wrong.
You need to have
thousands of dollars saved. Thousands.
Genuinely, you need to have a fuck ton of money saved, because one, you get paid a very, very low wage. Two, in Paris at least, in big cities, I can imagine, everything is super expensive.
Yeah.
So if you think, oh, no, like I just won't spend much money, wrong again. Supermarkets, food, everything is so expensive. For example, I bought a 250-gram little tub of tomatoes, €4.50.
$4.50?
€4.50.
That's crazy.
For about 6 tomatoes, 250 grams, €4.50.
Oh.
So that puts it into a little perspective. Oh, I'll just have like.
That's almost €1 a tomato.
Yep. Well, that wasn't technically like 4, but like.
I know, but if
that was about four
yeah.
4 bites. But genuinely, it's an expensive place. So save.
Yes, please. I would say if you're like a numbers person, at least bare minimum $4,000, not including your transfer or your travel here.
Yeah, which if some families are nice, they will pay for your.
But like at least $4,000.
Definitely. I feel like I agree with this one, and it's like host families. They may seem perfect on paper and through like other au pairs, but you 1000% need to have a video call.
Oh, I would say have multiple.
Meeting them if it's possible.
Yeah.
I feel like some in the au pair group chats, I feel like a lot of people, when they post their position, the old au pair is interviewing the new au pair. And some people were arguing about this in the group chat, but I genuinely feel like that should not really be a thing. Like, yes, you can.
I think it's important for me with each family. I had multiple video chats and like write out a list of every single question that you want to ask them. And also I FaceTimed the old au pairs, and that's what really gave me, which to be fair, that's up to the au pair. But if the au pair is not interviewing you, they are so good with telling you the truth because it really doesn't affect them at all. And that's how really I didn't choose like the first 2 families, because I talked to the au pairs and one girl was like, dude, don't do it. Like, she wasn't telling me explicitly, but she was giving me very like raw opinions, but also they were all American, so maybe it was just easier for me to, I don't know,
but I definitely think that ask your questions, because yes, it's them interviewing you, but you're also interviewing them.
Absolutely.
And you, just because they might have like a bit more power in this situation, you are also interviewing them.
Yes, you need to like ask about your day to day, ask about explicitly what how much you're gonna get paid. You need to sign a contract before you come. A lot of families don't do that if you're in like Europe or whatever, or the visa is different and you don't need it. Like, to get the visa to come here in the US, you need a contract. You need a contract signed with this family explicitly explaining everything so that you have proof to back it up. Because if it's just so important. If you don't have a contract, and if they're like, oh, we'll just talk about it when you get here, that's a red flag. Because then they always end up putting way more onto au pairs than what should be happening.
Yes.
Like our friend Neve, when she went to au pair in the US, and the lady was just like, oh, we'll just talk about it when you get here. And she was like, okay. Red flag. Don't do that.
I know. Thankfully, she is back with us and we are reunited.
I know.
Hallelujah. We missed her so much. But she was out here living her life.
Yeah, but do you have any other questions you think they should ask?
I feel like I asked my day-to-day, what my days will look like, what activities the kids enjoy doing.
Yeah.
If they have hobbies. Like my kids, they love playing with Legos.
Yeah.
And one of them loves to draw, so we'll do some drawings. They can play with Lego. I feel like
I think also asking what their intentions are with having an au pair, like what they're hoping to get out of it.
Yes, because then you can know whether or not it's going to be a right fit based on that.
Because some people do want more cultural, like, family-oriented style between relationships between the au pair and the family, and others just, like, other people prefer, like, having more separate, independent lives, so it's just up to you.
I feel like I was lucky enough where when I started, the old au pair was still there for like a couple of days.
Oh, that's nice.
I think she just came back to help them during the summer for like a week or two, and it was like during the transition of like me taking over, and I met with her, and we went to the kids' activities, and like we talked, and
also ask them how many au pairs they've had and how long each one has stayed, because my family has had 3 au pairs before me, and each one stayed the full 2 years.
But then I would also check with the family and the old au pairs.
Yeah.
Because
they could lie.
But sometimes the au pair is the problem and not the family.
Yeah, sometimes that's true.
So obviously don't take everything with a grain of salt, but kind of.
In the first month or 2 you come here, everyone's switching families.
Yes.
Not everyone, but like there's so much going on because one au pair might not be the right fit for a family, or one family might not be the right fit for an au pair. There's truly some insane crazy families and insane crazy au pairs.
Oh, 1000%.
So
but I feel like once you've found your family, it's just so easy, and you just get into the routine and groove of things. They just become your kids.
Yeah.
You know?
Hopefully. I mean, at least after a few months.
Yes.
Then it starts getting
a little bit easier.
Yeah.
Okay, so moving on. What is your...
The first month you get here, go to as many hangouts as possible.
Yes.
Because that is when everyone is looking for friends, and if you're an au pair here, like, everyone wants to be friends with each other, so it's really nice. There's hangouts every single day.
And going back to the money thing, this specifically is why you need to have savings, because think of it of like uni freshers, where like the first couple of weeks everyone's brand new, therefore you like need to go
trying to find your
to as many things. And
don't, even if you find a group and you think you really like them, keep going to hang out with other people.
Yes, because you never know.
Yeah, it takes a couple months to truly get to know someone, and there's also switches happening between the friend groups and stuff.
Yeah, and I feel like within like the first 3 to 6 months, people just like start showing their true colors, and that's when you're like, I shouldn't be, or I should be friends with this person.
And also, I think it's good too, because it's already a really big transition moving to a different country. So when you find people with similar experiences and everyone's talking about their families, also, if you think you have a crazy family, it can help to talk to other people about it, because they can help you decide what is crazy.
But yeah, I totally get that, because I feel like every one of us has a different scale of what's
important to them in a family. And
what's like, if you feel like you're being overworked or like overtasked, or like, no, that's a regular thing, you just might have not previously been, or like have had that experience.
I also said to bring at least one framed picture of family and things from home. Because I still don't have a framed picture, but I genuinely think a framed photo makes you feel more at home. Honestly, if you can fit it, like your bed sheets. Because I think that also my bed sheets just are really not soft, but it makes you feel a lot more connected to back home.
Yeah, I guess so. I did bring, like, on my latest trip back, I brought my blanket back with me. I brought my jelly cats. I brought some pictures. I even brought my mug, because, like, I literally brought my mug from home. Because, one, it's my favorite mug, and it's just I just love it. Shout out Oliver Bonus.
Little knickknacks and stuff that makes you feel like you're back at home. Because you will be missing that a lot.
One thing I've added is that you're not like a babysitter. So the kids will test you. Just
and you're not a maid.
Yeah. With the kids especially, don't expect it to be easy.
Yeah. Oh, yeah. Nannying, au pairing, babysitting are entirely different.
Yeah. I like don't go into it thinking like, oh, it's just looking after kids, because it's a bit more than that.
It is, because you're building relationships with them as well, and you see them every day.
Yeah.
Babysitting, it's not... There's not as much writing on it also, because you can just do it for a couple hours and leave.
Yeah.
That's... If you're seeing the same kids every single day, you're going to be going through a lot more challenges, and you have to implement more authority with them, or else they will disrespect you.
Yeah, and I feel like you should speak with the parents right from the start, and just to be clear what they are
expecting of you.
Kind of what you're allowed to do with their kids regarding their discipline.
Also, ask them about their parenting styles and what they do to discipline their kids when they're acting wrong.
Yes. Well, I've found tips and tricks have worked with my kids. I feel like it's very important to have that conversation right at the beginning, just so that you're aware of how their kids behave. They might, because you might have had some experiences with some kids that respond a specific way to something that you say, but then you say that same thing and the kids respond completely different, and you're like, uh-oh.
Yeah.
I don't know how to deal with this.
Yeah.
So you want to find ways to discipline their kids without being like a mean au pair or like a mean person in their eyes.
I think also keeping an open line of communication with the parents constantly
100%.
from the beginning.
Yes.
That helps a lot, because the parents don't see the kids while you're with them, and they might act entirely different with you than they do with them. They probably will. I would say this is a good question to ask. I know I asked the old au pair about when conflict happens with the kids, how do you deal with that as the au pair, and what are some examples of experiences you've had with the kids?
Oh, 100%.
Do they listen to you? Like, how has this been resolved? Were the parents an active part of that? Because my family is very good about, if there is a conflict and I tell my host parents, they sit the kids down and talk to them, and then they bring me in and we all talk as like a family thing. So family will handle it differently. Yeah,
you just need to know these things before you start, honestly.
Yeah.
Because trying to implement rules and things after you've started, I feel like just doesn't work. You need to kind of show them who's in power, like from the start. Like, guys, like, I'll be nice, but once you've like pushed to the line and it goes from being funny to not funny, that's when we like draw the line.
Also, as someone that is taking care of children, you're teaching them how to be a good person.
Yes.
And you're doing, even if they don't like it in the moment, you're doing it out of love. Even if they're upset with you and you're saying, you can't do this, I understand you're upset right now, and you might not like that you can't do this, but it's out of love that I'm not allowing you to speak to people like that. I'm not allowing you to do this stuff. And they're not going to understand because they're a child.
No, yeah. Like, if they shout at you, if they scream at you, just, like, let it go over your head. Don't...
Yes, like, but then also, make sure that they know that's not allowed, but don't take it personally.
Yeah. For me personally, I text the parents like 24/7.
Yeah.
Because I know that obviously they aren't on their phones, but then when they are, then they can have a brisk update of like everything that's happened, or like everything that's happening during the day. Just like sending them updates of like what they're doing.
Also, like, because if you don't keep this open line of communication, and then the kids start telling them, oh my gosh, the au pair did this, they did this, and then they're only hearing because the kids will talk to the parents all the time.
Oh, 100%.
And the parents will be asking them what happened, and they're only going to be getting their side of the story and not your side of the story.
If you wait a couple of days or whatever, or like even the next day to tell them, chances are you're going lower and lower in their books, because one, you should have told them right when it happened, because their kids most likely would have told them, it would have slipped out or whatever as soon as the parents got home. So it's way better to hear it from you first and then the kids say it later.
Yeah. I also have, as something I wish I knew, you're going to get so comfortable doing things alone. And the faster you can learn to do that, the more it helps you, because when it comes to taking trips or going and doing whatever you want, figure out what you want to get out of your au pair experience before you go, if you can. If you really want to make it about traveling, start looking at places that you want to go and actually put them on the calendar for when you get here, and like don't just keep pushing it off. And if no one's gonna go with you, you have to go alone.
Yes.
Because people are gonna say, and even before moving here, people are always like, oh my gosh, yeah, like I want to go do that, I want to go do that, but then it never happens. So you just got to make sure that you get the most of your experience here.
Yes. Okay, for me, this isn't a personal one because we're in France, but if knowing the language, making an effort to learn it.
Yeah.
Or like just to not be ignorant. Try and engage in conversation. Like,
I think for me, as someone that's like moving here that didn't know anything, try and phrase it in your head as be curious.
Yes.
Don't be scared, because people are going to be mean to you, and they're also going to just like, they're gonna think you're stupid, and you have to get comfortable with people thinking that when you don't know a language, because you're...
But genuinely, I do think you should like learn a few phrases. Like hello, goodbye, thank you, no thanks.
Yes, definitely.
Like the basics.
The basics, but also just be curious when you go and ask people questions. And find a couple people that you feel safe around, like literally embarrassing yourself, because it's gonna be so embarrassing when you try and start to find a new language. Find a few people that you can ask. Also, because of our cinema passes, I feel like it's helped a lot watching, even like, yes, you should be watching French shows with English subtitles. Switch it, and anytime you're watching an English show, watch it with French subtitles, and it really does help too. Because like I'll ask, like even when I asked you and I was like, what's Matt? Like, bro, like even like in things like that, for me, I feel like that's helping me out more. Yeah. I don't want to say maybe not more, because I'm still like, it's really hard for me, the listening part, but it helps you recognize the words a lot if you actively choose to look at the subtitles while you're watching it.
Which I feel like I do that all the time. Yeah. I'm like an avid subtitle watcher.
My subtitles are on in English usually. If I'm watching
but they're on 24/7. I feel like I can't.
Some people don't like that at all. Some people are like, get the subtitles off.
My mum is like that. I'm like, I genuinely don't understand. I like it doesn't.
Well, I have an auditory processing disorder, so I don't know if you have that.
No, but like obviously I can still hear. It just makes it. I don't know. It was a few years back. I just turned on the subtitles one day and I was like, dang.
Oh, this is so much easier.
Yeah, and I was like, wait, let me just never go back.
This is kind of a vibe, actually.
And ever since then, but yeah, so when we go to the cinema, they obviously put French subtitles on everything, which in a couple of weeks, we will be going to see Lady Bird, and 2 days ago we went to see Call Me By Your Name, which I sobbed.
It was very good.
I couldn't help myself.
Yeah. I had a different experience in the cinema, but it's okay because I'm rewatching it.
But I like genuinely did not occur to me that like you wouldn't be able to understand. In my head, I'm just like, well, yeah, obviously, like you'll be able to know.
If you know, Call Me By Your Name is like, it's probably, I really wanted to look up the exact percentage, but it's probably 50% in English and the rest is in Italian and French.
Yeah. But well, I feel like it's maybe like 80% English.
Oh, girl, I promise you, if you rewatch it and actively think, if you thought that like in every single part where it was French or Italian, if it was in Chinese for you, you would be like, bruh, like I can't. But
that is true, because obviously in the Italian parts they would put the French subtitles, and then when it would speak French, there would just be no subtitles.
Which, and it would even be better if there was French subtitles during the French. But
yeah, I don't know why they didn't.
As I'm watching it with the English subtitles, I'm like, even the first 5 minutes, I was like, this is so much better.
It is such
Like,
a
it
good film.
was,
I did like lean over and translate
And I
some of
appreciated
the
that
stuff.
because I was so checked out and I genuinely wanted to leave. But I was also just having a bad day.
That is true.
So that attributed to it. Yeah, I'm also glad that I didn't go watch that Marie Antoinette.
Oh my
movie
God, yeah, because
that was
that
gonna
is
be half in French. And I was like, oh, I could probably, go, like that would be good help. No. Don't even do it. I have another
Go
tip.
on.
Plan a trip to go back home. Probably, I would recommend 3 months after you get here.
Yes.
Because 3 months is enough time to where you're going to come and it's going to be really overwhelming the first month and the second month, honestly. And then the third month, you're just going to be missing home so much and you're going to be so homesick. And then once you go home, you get a little boost of energy and you get your pizzazz back.
No, yeah, which piggybacking off that, overpack. I would recommend to overpack if you're like, oh, I don't know whether I should bring this or not, bring it.
You're gonna need it.
Because you don't know what the vibes are gonna be like.
It's
just
gonna
overpack.
be entirely different.
Because then in those first 3 months, you're gonna then figure out, oh, actually, I don't need this. I don't need this. I wish I brought this. And then with the next time you go home, bring all of the stuff that you didn't or don't want to wear and then switch out your wardrobe.
Yeah, because especially even just the style and everything is different. I brought, like, even for winter, I brought a bunch of sweaters. I brought this one and I was like, I'm probably gonna give it away the first week. I never wear this at all in the US.
Really?
Yeah, wear it every single day here.
To be fair, is it not like, it's hot though, right?
Yeah, there's no need for winter clothes, but I would wear other things when it was cold. I guess I would wear sweatshirts and, like, I don't know, I had sweaters, but I would never wear this one.
Well, because did you have
what?
Did you have a black puffer at home?
I bought one before I went to Scotland, and I never wore it once in the US. So I only bought it for this trip. Yeah, look up the weather. I didn't realize that it's cold for 6 months at least here, and it's cold. When I say it's cold every single day. So
I mean, I would suggest that if you're coming from a warm US state, because most of Europe has the same-ish temperatures.
Yeah, I mean, I don't know. I haven't lived in the south of Europe.
Well, like, they have, like, in the south of France, where there's, like, where we're at right now, it's, like, similar weather. It just, they might get a few more days of sun in the week than we do. But I feel like the temperatures are relatively the same. They'll definitely get the sun or like spring and summer a month, maybe 2 earlier than us. I feel like overall it's the same-ish temperatures. But down the south, in the summertime, it gets up to like 30, 40 degrees, which I think is like 90 or 100.
Yeah.
Which we're going camping. And
I'm so excited.
Genuinely, like, that's the one thing I definitely will be doing is going camping and kayaking. I haven't kayaked in years.
Really?
And I will be taking you to the go-to spot.
Oh, I'm so excited to go.
The South is where I dominate.
That's where she's from. Plan a trip every chance you can get.
Yeah.
Because you're only going to be here for probably... even if you're here for 2 years, that's a very short amount of time.
It is.
And you don't want to just sit on your breaks at home because either you couldn't get it planned or you thought that you were going to be too tired. Because I do that sometimes. I'm like, the first few trips I planned, I was like, oh, I'll only go for a couple days or like 4 days because I don't want to wear myself out. And then I'm there and I'm like, what the hell am I doing? Why did I not plan for longer? So...
Which, piggybacking, ask and make it clear with your host family what the holiday schedule looks like.
Yeah.
Speak in advance, talk to them, really get everything figured out because obviously, as we know, everything is more expensive during the school holidays because it's the school holidays.
Yeah.
I would ask them what's the plan for bank holidays when obviously the kids don't have school, but then some jobs will also be closed and some obviously won't be. Really
some families might make you take care of the kids all day.
Yeah, but if they don't, that could mean a 3 or 4 day weekend.
Yeah, that
for
you can go take
a weekend getaway. So I would highly suggest to talk holidays out prior to starting so that you know exactly what to expect.
Yeah. I have just a couple.
I didn't have that many, so this is all you.
Living abroad is one of the most humbling experiences alive. If you are American, everyone's gonna tell you're stupid every single day. Either online or to your face, and you just like need to accept it and just prepare yourself that like there's been so many days where I just cry because people are like, you're stupid because you're American. They're going to talk politics every single day. Like, American politics, they're not going to be talking about, like, France politics. They're going to be like, so Trump did this, and Trump did that.
That actually is true.
And it doesn't matter that you didn't vote for him because you are American, so you're associated with him, so all of his problems, people are still mad at you for it.
Yes, which because I feel like our politics are so boring.
I know, and it really like comes down to like everyone in Europe is like obsessed with Americans.
It kind of
that's just what I tell myself when I get like really sad and I'm like crying and I'm like, why? It's because
we definitely are.
Oh my god! Like,
yeah, we enjoy your politics because ours is just boring, and yours are such a shambles that it's like just funny.
It's chaotic. Well, it's funny for the people that don't live
that are
there.
not experiencing it. Yeah. Obviously, it's sad and like wouldn't wish it upon anyone, but like it's just funny how fucked up it is, especially since we are like in 2025.
And like it's so funny because every single person here ever is going to explain American politics to you, and they explain it to you. It's almost, I view it as like mansplaining.
I was about to say,
it's like people from Europe are like, oh my god, this is what's going on in American politics. And it's like, babe, I live in Texas. Like, I know I don't have rights. Like, and so just be prepared for it's the same feeling as mansplaining. It's just a little bit different. But it's also a humbling experience living abroad because you don't know anything and
no, yeah.
You are having to figure everything out yourself, but the upside to that is once you go back, you literally can do anything.
Yeah, and you can be that annoying bitch that, I lived in Paris for a year.
Oh my god, I know. I'm just like really missing like the beaches of Spain right now. I used to go there on the weekends, you know, stuff like that.
Oh my god.
But also, it gives you a newfound confidence. And it also gets really annoying when they have such, like, pessimistic mindsets. They're like, oh my god. Some people never leave the city they grew up in. Mm-hmm. Which is wild. Or the state. Especially in the U.S. People will live in Texas their entire life.
I mean, Texas is a huge
I guess state. Texas is bigger than France. Still, but the same with people here. The amount of Frenchmen that have never moved out of France or even Paris, and I'm like, guys, let's go see the world a little bit. Like, there's a lot out there. You might learn a thing or two.
No, yeah.
Anyways,
what's your last one?
You have to make an effort to keep in touch with your friends and family, especially if there's a big time difference.
Yes.
They are going to tell you, this happened to my sister and I didn't really believe it, and then it happened to me. I don't understand the time difference, so you can just call me. So you're gonna have to make an effort to like call them, because even though there is an app on your phone that tells you what time it is in every city in the world, they're probably not gonna look it up, so you have to make an effort to call them.
Oh.
And stuff like that. Yeah.
I have not.
But also, I think what's the time difference between here and England? Oh, or you mean like with your friends in the US?
Yeah. Yeah. Oh. Obviously, the time difference between here and England is 1 hour. Like, it's not a time difference. But like, maybe it's just because we're younger. Yeah. Because I know, it's only like 6 hours. So I'm like, when it's like 1 or 2, I know she's like driving to work. Yeah. You know, it's like kind of the same. Yeah. Maybe it's just because we're younger and more hip. Okay, well, I feel like that was a good episode. We might wrap it up. Hope you guys enjoyed our story.
Check us out on social media.
At Subject Real Talk, like always. Comment au pairs under our latest post. Happy belated Valentine's Day and happy holidays.
Okay, love you guys.
Bye.
Thanks. Bye.